I did not actually bring a carton of milk up on stage. This is water, and this is what it came in. Thank you. Thanks. Okay, the topic tonight is branding. I think of it more as scarring or just getting really fucked up. Now, I've received many pearls of wisdom from my mother through the years. Really healthy things like, don't treat men, all men are shit. Your friends aren't your friends, and don't be a gullible schmuck. But one of the things that I really remember is my mother talking about being glamorous. It was very important to be glamorous. You always had to wear black, and if you had a thick waistline, you could never, ever wear a belt, unless, of course, it was a very expensive designer belt, in which case she'd overlook that. So the idea was it was very important to look glamorous, because when you're setting yourself up as human bait, you have to make sure that you're doing your job properly. So the idea was look good and catch a live one. Now, I come from a very Jewish New York family, and so there was nothing as revered as a doctor. Nothing was as revered as a doctor. My mother used to say to me, you know what, Aimee? More important you marry a doctor than be a doctor. And I would say, how could that be more important? If you accomplish that, what if it, because you can end up being a doctor and still be a spinster. So that was one of the things. Another few rules she had, one was wearing stripes. You cannot wear stripes if you're an ounce overweight. I remember once, I was living in Atlanta, I was pregnant, I was coming back to New York for my shower. And I was coming into the terminal, and my mother was fake whispering, as only she could do. She said to my sister, look at Aimee, she's an elephant, and she's wearing stripes. First thing she said to me when I came over to her, where do you come off wearing stripes? How can you wear stripes? So that killed me with stripes. You'll never see me in stripes to this day. So basically, black on black, 3 tenets to life, according to my mother. 1, be thin. 2, don't take shit from anyone except her. And 3, marry well. So I was pretty well versed on how to act with the boys at a young age. But the 2 things that I think really, probably physiologically did the most harm was, my mother always said, you never, ever eat in front of a guy you like. Never. But the part that hurt my bladder, never, ever go to the bathroom when you're on a date. Never. Die, suck it up, explode, let it run through your nose. Never, ever go to the bathroom in front of somebody you like. And I learned well. Basically, I believed that I was too feminine to use my bladder. So now I fast forward to college. I go to American University in Washington, D.C., and I meet a guy who's everything I'm not. Blonde hair, blue-eyed, non-Jewish. I was from the city, he was from the country. He had pets. How I wanted pets. He had 2 humongous, vicious St. Bernards and 4 Basset Hounds. And we never had pets because it was too hard to keep the house boiled and sterilized for my mother. So there was no way we could have any pets, except once I did win a goldfish at a fair. And I brought it home very excited. I was in 3rd grade. My mother said, we can't keep that fish in here. We had a 3-bedroom apartment in New York. We can't keep that fish in here. It's going to stink up the whole house. And as soon as I went to school the next day, she threw it down the incinerator. So anyway, I'm now going to American University. I meet this guy, David, and I like him a lot. Now, because I was never allowed to have pets, as soon as I got into a dorm, I snuck in a cat. And his name was Ira. And Ira lived in a drawer, basically. When people would come to my dorm room, I'd open the drawer, put Ira in, close the drawer, stand against the drawer, and try and get everybody out of my room. So, David lived at the edge of the meadow in this old yellow house with a stone, like a colonial stone wall, and a brook, and across the street, across the road from him, was this field with these gorgeous, glossy, black and white cows. So it was idyllic. It was only an hour and a half out of New York City, but it was like light years away. It was completely unlike anything that I've ever seen. So it's this one night. Now I had to bring my cat with me because I couldn't leave him in the dorm, and we were going to his parents' house. Let me just tell you about his family for a second. 6 kids, 2 parents. The mother was fucking weird. She had the Joan Crawford eyebrows, the red lips and white skin, and had a very thick Maine accent. She could have been the prototype for any Stephen King novel. And the father was this aging kind of hipster. I always used to think he was a commie because of the hat he wore. And he had a bizarre radio show in New York. So that's the family. So, okay, one night, David and I, we go out. And I leave Ira in David's room and close the door because I didn't want the St. Bernards to eat him. So we go, we have a great time, we meet with his friends. Now it's time to come home. I'm going to sleep in David's room upstairs. He's going to sleep on the couch downstairs. Now his house was a very old, interesting house. It was an old post office and a general store combined. And in front of the house, they had the Indian totem pole that was an advertising campaign for cigars many years ago. So the layout of the house is such that 6 kids, 2 parents, 2 bathrooms. Only one bathroom has a shower and a bath. The other one has a sink and a toilet. Where was the bedroom? The bathroom? In the parents' bedroom. Okay, whatever. I go into my room, I get undressed, I snuggle with Ira, and I realize I have a really full bladder. I have to go to the bathroom. So I figured, all right, I'll just go down the stairs and I'll go to the bathroom. So I go down the wooden steps and I go maybe 2 or 3 steps and the dogs are growling and they're snarling. And I'm thinking, oh shit, I'm not scared of dogs, but these dogs definitely do scare me. So I came running back up and I thought, all right, new plan. I'm going to sneak into the parents' bedroom. God forbid they should wake up and see me creeping into their room. I'm rubbing my nose because I have a cold. I'm not a cocaine addict. It's just what you should know, that I'm not doing drugs. At least not cocaine. So anyway, I start tiptoeing into his parents' room, and his mother turns in her sleep. Now, she didn't like me anyway. I could just picture what she would think if she saw me like this going into a bedroom at night. So I ran out. I got so scared. It was like a firecracker was lit in my ass, and I was gone. So now I'm back at the top of the steps again. Well, I'm going to walk down 3 steps. I'm going to desensitize the dogs, but I really have to go. So I walked down 3 steps. I sat down. They start growling. I go down a few more steps. They're snarling. Now I go down 1 more step, and now they're starting to bark. And I didn't want David to wake up, because if he woke up, I'd have to tell him I used the bathroom, and my mother said, you don't do that. So I am going crazy trying to figure out what to do. I go back into David's room, looking for a bottle. Couldn't find one, but there was a fish tank that was empty. But I couldn't reach it, and the window was jammed shut. So what am I going to do? So I'm pacing back and forth in this room, having to pee like nothing else. And all of a sudden, eureka, I saw it. My salvation. There was Ira's litter box. But it was a shoe box. It was a little cardboard box with just a handful of litter thrown in, because I was only staying for one night. I look at the litter box. I think about the dogs, their teeth, their snarling. I think about how his mother doesn't like me that much to begin with. I get down. I straddle this box, and the urine level is getting dangerously high. So I'm freaking out. But luckily, it just stopped right at the edge of the box. So I thought, all right, tomorrow I'm going to get up early, I'm going to get rid of the box. I wake up, I'm in a fine mood, why not? I go get something, I go back into my room, and there they are. 6 kids and 2 parents standing around Ira's litter box. Man, that cat is sick. You better give him some water. And let me just tell you, the box had collapsed from the weight of the urine. So the back box was flat and urine was all over the floor. So I'm standing there thinking to myself, his mother's got to know it's me. She's got to know it was me who urinated in there. I mean, it smells like people urine. But they're carrying on and saying things like, you better get him to a vet. How can a 7-pound kitten put out so much urine and still be alive? So I had to pretend that I was concerned about Ira. But the thing is, as much as I was scarred by my mother, I now use the bathroom when I have to. And my advice to you is, you have to go, go. But don't use a cardboard box, because they don't hold up so well. Thank you.